Coaxing clarity. Picture perfect.
Applejack, wait just a minute, dear.
Rarity called. Applejack stopped in her tracks, and looking back, saw Rarity waving to her from the school entrance. She stood at the top of the stairs, clutching her yearbook and bouncing a little. Not quite as animated as Pinkie Pie, but still noticeable from a distance. Furrowing her brow, Applejack slowly stepped off of the bus. Missing it now would leave her with a long walk home later. It wasn't like she didn't want to talk to Rarity, far from it. Rarity had been the one avoiding her all day. Any run-ins in the halls were curt, and while they never made it to a point to chat during classes, Rarity kept her gaze fixed firmly forward in each one. Rainbow Dash even tried to break her focus, and Applejack had to step in before she ended them both in detention. And at lunch too. Though Rarity was engaging with the gang, she didn't respond to anything Applejack said. Then school was over, and with no plans, the girls had waved their goodbyes and gone their separate ways. But now, Rarity wanted her for something. Applejack's confusion over Rarity's behavior slowly shifted into concern, and she made her way back up the steps.
What's the matter, Rarity?
She asked, sincere in every sense.
Oh, nothing, Applejack. I simply wanted to talk to you for a moment.
Rarity opened her yearbook and thumbed through its pages as she spoke. She struggled at points when the pages stuck together, and worked almost frantically to separate them. Applejack's confusion threatened to resurface. If this was as simple as exchanging signatures, why couldn't it wait until tomorrow? She already swapped with the other girls, and she was sure she saw Rarity doing the same between classes. Before Applejack could question it any further, Rarity showed off her yearbook, open to her own picture.
Smashing, isn't it? Photo finish really went all out this year. Though she still didn't let me get a word in. And while I hold nothing but respect for photo finish and her abilities, her communication leaves much to be desired. But anyway, you've got a knack for telling it like it is, Applejack, so how do you like it?
She finally looked up at Applejack. Rarity's bouncing had shifted into vibrating, her smile widening by the second Applejack couldn't help but love this side of Rarity, whenever her lady persona crumbled, and she was just a girl, positively ecstatic to share her passions. But even though Rarity often asked for her friends' opinions, she never needed their approval. Applejack put a reassuring hand on Rarity's shoulder.
You look great, Sugar Cube.
To some degree, Rarity's shaking subsided.
That's not very descriptive, darling.
She chuckled.
Oh, well, I think that photo finish managed to capture your beauty and put it in this here yearbook for all of us to treasure. Applejack?
Rarity pulled back, mouth agape, placing a hand over her chest.
Now you're just being silly.
She sputtered.
Honest, Rares.
Applejack said, planting her hands on her hips and giving a signature apple nod.
Now, what's gotten into you? You ain't ever acted like this before. It seems like you've been avoiding me all day, and you usually don't ask for my opinion on looks.
Rarity went silent for a minute.
Nothing's bugging me, per se.
She trailed off, furrowing her brow.
This means a lot to me, dear.
She offered weakly.
You didn't ask me about it last year, though. Well, things have changed since then.
Rarity averted her gaze and cringed as she spoke. Alarms went off in Applejack's head. Their recent magical escapades had surely brought them closer together, not driven them apart. If she had wronged Rarity, she had to make it right.
Between us? That why you ain't even been looking at me today?
She asked, keeping her tone soft. But Rarity waved defensively.
Oh, no! I mean, yes, we've become better friends than we once were. Naturally, I value your opinion more as well. Nothing's wrong between us, dear. She clarified.
Relief claimed Applejack's worries.
So, what's going on? You can tell me, Rarity. I'm a tad embarrassed, that's all. Now ain't that some? Rarity embarrassed? Never thought I'd see the day.
Applejack teased.
Yes, I know.
Rarity responded, rolling her eyes playfully.
I've just been thinking lately. Maybe I'm a bit too much, if I'm being honest. And I really wanted to cap this year off with something special. This whole school year's been a little crazy, but I wouldn't trade it for anything else. And I'd like to have a proper memento of all we've gone through together.
Applejack pulled out her phone.
If it's all about the memories we made, then why should it remind us of them making such a difference? Quality don't matter, anything can be special. And if you're wanting a memento of our time together, well, we can pull one of those up anytime.
Applejack chuckled, turning her screen around to show a photo of Rarity, her face dragging and hair disheveled after one of their signature sleepovers. Those absurdly late nights were always full of trashy snacks, party games, and quality time with the girls, cementing them as the highlight of any given week. Rarity would always make a stink if anyone pointed out her early morning mess, yet she still chose to spend those mornings ensuring that everyone else was ready for their day before focusing on herself. She was hardworking, even if her work ethic was directed towards other things. It was respectable, charming even.
But you still have that?
Rarity reeled, eyes widening.
I told Pinky to delete it immediately. It's been weeks. Now, why would you want to get rid of a perfectly good memory?
Applejack joked.
I'm not... Fine, you've made your point.
Rarity harumphed, crossing her arms.
You see what I'm saying?
Applejack asked.
You're fretting over how you look when really you don't even gotta put effort into it. Every picture with you in it, it's fine the way it is. And the memories attached only serve to make it better.
She punctuated her reassurances with a smile. Rarity sunk, her pout seeming to touch more genuine than usual.
Applejack, how can you be so good with words yet so bad with them at the same time? That's unfair. I just say what's on my mind, Sugar Cube. And what is on your mind?
Rarity asked cautiously.
This ain't about your picture, is it?
A direct confrontation, soft but firm. Rarity had deflected a few times already, and if she didn't press now, she might try again.
I couldn't tell you what's wrong, and I'm all out of guesses. But I know you well enough to know when you ain't being honest.
Rarity twiddled her thumbs as she answered.
Yes, I suppose I haven't been honest with you. But not entirely. It really isn't your fault. I simply struggle with words a bit more than you do.
When silence followed, Applejack nodded for her to continue.
I really have been thinking of this past year. Of our time together. I'm not so worried about how I look, but how I look to you. You mean a lot to me, darling. I'm glad that we've had our fair share of crazy this year. Because we've been able to go through those struggles together. And become better friends for it. I just like to become a little more.
Applejack blinked, mind running in place to catch up with what she'd heard. She had always been fond of Rarity, much the same as any of her other friends. They'd had their ups and downs, but Applejack was glad to have her by her side. She couldn't have asked for more. It was offered. But the world seemed to fade away. Rarity stood like a lone star in the night sky, shining her light on Applejack. Her chest tightened. Stars? How could she have not seen it before? Applejack was unable to contain her smile.
Shoot, Rarity. How could I say no?
Rarity squealed, dropping her yearbook and throwing her arms around Applejack, pulling her close. She returned the embrace. Even as Rarity made an attempt to squeeze the life out of Applejack, her touch was soft and warm, leaving Applejack content in her arms. There was one thing that could make this better, though. Applejack held the phone up above them and snapped a picture.
Got your memento, Sugar Cube.
Rarity released her grip on Applejack so she could see it.
Oh, I look positively dreadful, dear,
she said through tears, laughing even still.
But it is a good picture. Oh, good heavens!
She declared, spotting the time in the corner of the screen.
I didn't mean to keep you for so long, Applejack, and you had to miss the bus, too. Hey, it's no biggie,
Applejack said, shrugging.
I'll just meander on home, or give Big Mac a call. Or...
Rarity picked up her yearbook and held it close to her chest.
You could accompany me home. Maybe grab dinner on the way?
Applejack didn't need to think it over.
All you had to do was ask.
Oh, heartwarming fluff, I just want more of it. It's just so nice. You read it, the author feels good, and you feel good. Now let's get on to our happy donators. Top donators: Jessie Smith, Star630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, and Caladis. Magic, JockeTF, Luciisu, Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel, Skies, Austin, Rolan, Swordbrother, Mordred, Omicron, Lyrae, Runescythe, Will, Chris, Twiggy, Rysel, Shadowmoon, Luigi, Chancer Quest, Big Smoke, Bobcat, Murder Princess, Jet, Little Mighty, Solar Symphony, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.